why.
Yeah, he's crazy, bro. That's why I told him I'll smack him when I see him, and he better have security, because he is disrespectful.
The ongoing feud between Edgar Berlanga, a rising Puerto Rican super middleweight boxer, and Oscar de la Hoya, the legendary former champion and promoter, has reached a boiling point, spilling into public view with heated exchanges, personal jabs, and threats of physical confrontation. This drama, rooted in professional rivalries and personal slights, has unfolded against the backdrop of Berlanga's preparation for significant fights, including his upcoming bout against British contender Hamza Shiraz on July 12, 2025, and a high-profile clash with Canelo Alvarez scheduled for September 14, 2025. The tension, amplified by social media and press conferences, has added an extra layer of intrigue to the boxing world, drawing attention not only to Berlanga's in-ring ambitions, but also to the bitter history between De La Hoya and several figures in the sport, including Canelo Alvarez. The conflict began to simmer when Berlanga, a Brooklyn-born fighter of Puerto Rican descent, parted ways with Top Rank in early 2023, becoming a free agent after a 4-year stint that saw him maintain an undefeated record and build a reputation for explosive knockouts. During this period, De La Hoya, as the head of Golden Boy Promotions, aggressively pursued Berlanga, seeing him as a potential star to bolster his promotional roster. De La Hoya reportedly flew from Los Angeles to meet with Berlanga, spending hours trying to secure his signature. However, Berlanga ultimately chose to sign with Matchroom Boxing under promoter Eddie Hearn, a decision that appears to have left De La Hoya feeling slighted and set the stage for their ongoing animosity. The first public signs of tension emerged when De La Hoya began questioning Berlanga's Puerto Rican identity, a sensitive topic given Berlanga's pride in his heritage and his efforts to position himself as a representative of Puerto Rico in the boxing world. De La Hoya, who lived in Puerto Rico for 6 years, provocatively claimed that he was more Puerto Rican than Berlanga, who was born and raised in Brooklyn. In a video posted on Instagram as part of his Clapback Thursdays series, De La Hoya taunted Berlanga, saying, "Puerto Rico doesn't claim you, bro," and challenged him to produce a Puerto Rican birth certificate. This jab was particularly stinging because Berlanga has leaned heavily into his Puerto Rican roots, especially as he prepares to face Canelo Alvarez in a fight billed as a Mexico versus Puerto Rico showdown. De La Hoya's comments were seen as an attempt to undermine Berlanga's cultural credibility and diminish the hype surrounding his fight with Canelo. Berlanga, known for his fiery personality and willingness to engage in verbal sparring, didn't hesitate to fire back. In a series of interviews and social media posts, he accused De La Hoya of being bitter over his decision to sign with Matchroom instead of Golden Boy. Berlanga claimed that De La Hoya had been on his head for hours, desperately trying to sign him, and suggested that De La Hoya's attacks were motivated by personal resentment rather than professional critique. In one particularly inflammatory post on X, Berlanga wrote, "Get off my head, Oscar de la Hoya. You were dying to sign me last year and flew in to sit down with me and was on my head. I'ma have a bag of coke for you, idiot." This reference to De La Hoya's past struggles with substance abuse was a low blow, escalating the feud into deeply personal territory. The tension between the two reached a dramatic peak just before Berlanga's July 12th fight against Hamza Shiraz at Louis Armstrong Stadium in Queens, New York. During a media event, Berlanga and De La Hoya crossed paths, and the encounter quickly turned volatile. Berlanga, still seething from De La Hoya's earlier comments, confronted the promoter, reportedly threatening to "break you in many pieces and smash your bones, fool." Security intervened to prevent the situation from escalating into physical violence, but the incident underscored the intensity of their rivalry. De La Hoya, undeterred, doubled down on his provocations, posting on Instagram hours before the fight to reiterate his challenge to Berlanga. In the post, he mocked Berlanga's threat to slap him, daring him to follow through and promising a huge surprise for the fighter on July 12th. De La Hoya's Instagram video was a masterclass in trolling as he lit a cigar and looked directly into the camera, saying, "Edgar Berlanga, you stopped your press conference yesterday to mention my name. You said you're going to slap me when you see me next. Why? Because I asked to see your Puerto Rican birth certificate, because you're not really Puerto Rican." He went on to reference his own fight against Felix Trinidad in 1999, claiming that Trinidad had the entire island of Puerto Rico behind him, implying that Berlanga lacks similar support. De La Hoya also took a swipe at Berlanga's boxing credentials, calling him a subpar opponent for Canelo Alvarez and predicting that their September 14th fight would fail to draw significant pay-per-view numbers. This ongoing war of words is not just about personal grudges, it's also deeply tied to the broader dynamics of the boxing world. De La Hoya's feud with Canelo Alvarez, which began after their professional split in 2020, has colored his interactions with Berlanga, who is now set to face Alvarez in a high-stakes bout. De La Hoya has been vocal in his criticism of Canelo, accusing him of avoiding top contenders like David Benavidez and pricing himself out of potential fights with the backing of Saudi investors. In his Clapback Thursdays series, De La Hoya claimed that Canelo had refused to meet with him in person and had outpriced himself to the point that even Saudi promoters were unwilling to work with him. By targeting Berlanga, De La Hoya appears to be using the young fighter as a proxy to continue his vendetta against Canelo, questioning the legitimacy of their upcoming fight and dismissing Berlanga as an unworthy opponent. Berlanga, for his part, has not shied away from engaging in the psychological warfare that often accompanies big fights. During a press conference for his fight with Canelo, he took aim at De La Hoya's attempts to undermine the event, saying, "Guys like Oscar De La Hoya out there trying to destroy my reputation, destroy Canelo's reputation, trying to say that we're not going to sell no tickets, that the PPV numbers nobody's going to buy. It's not going to hit over 100K. That's stupid stuff. And if I see him, I'll smack the hell out of him." Berlanga's frustration was palpable, as he felt that De La Hoya's criticisms were not only personal, but also an attempt to sabotage his moment in the spotlight. The feud has also drawn in other figures in the boxing world, including Eddie Hearn, Berlanga's promoter, and Turki Al-Sheikh, a prominent Saudi boxing promoter. Hearn, who has his own history of rivalry with De La Hoya, has been a staunch defender of Berlanga, praising his skills and marketability. Berlanga echoed this sentiment, calling Hearn the best in the business and crediting him with transforming the U.S. boxing scene after coming from the UK. Meanwhile, Al-Sheikh has expressed support for Hamza Shiraz, Berlanga's July 12th opponent, stating that he has big plans for the British fighter if he wins. Berlanga responded sharply to Al-Sheikh's comments on X, signaling that he's not intimidated by the promoter's confidence in his opponent. The personal nature of the Berlanga-De La Hoya feud has also brought up past controversies. Berlanga referenced De La Hoya's fallout with other fighters, including Ryan Garcia, who has had public disputes with Golden Boy Promotions. Berlanga also alluded to De La Hoya's past struggles with substance abuse, a topic that has been a recurring point of criticism from his detractors. In one particularly biting post, Berlanga shared a photo of De La Hoya in a compromising situation, captioning it, "See you in New York, my little stripper." This escalation drew mixed reactions, with some fans praising Berlanga's boldness and others criticizing him for crossing a line. De La Hoya, a six-division world champion and Hall of Famer, is no stranger to controversy. His career as a promoter has been marked by significant successes, including guiding Canelo Alvarez to superstardom, but also by public spats and professional missteps. His feud with Canelo, which began after their split, has been particularly bitter, with both sides trading barbs in the media. De La Hoya has accused Canelo of dodging top competition, while Canelo has dismissed De La Hoya as irrelevant. Berlanga, by aligning himself with Canelo's camp and taking on De La Hoya's criticisms, has become a new focal point in this ongoing saga.